Cloud gaming.
You stink!
All right, hang on. With Xbox's Play Anywhere campaign, I'm hearing more and more people online and in my own life talk about cloud gaming. What is it? How is my phone an Xbox? How is my laptop an Xbox? How is my smart fridge an Xbox? And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm kind of amazed that so few people seem to understand this technology, and I think that's because they don't have to. Even the bigger YouTubers just kind of dismiss it, and I find that very surprising. While it's not perfect, it's actually pretty revolutionary technology, even if it's not your thing. This might not be the audience for it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist or won't exist one day, and I think people would be more receptive to it if they just understood it. So here's how a normal video game works. Let's use a console. For the sake of this video, let's use an Xbox. Gilly is playing his Xbox. Gilly presses A to jump. That command is sent to the Xbox via a wireless signal. The command is executed, and the Xbox produces a video of that command being executed on the screen. Cloud gaming is a little different. So let's say you don't have an Xbox, you have a laptop, and this laptop is a piece of crap. It can't run anything except a web browser, but it can stream video just fine.
Hi.
Okay.
And you have a GamePass subscription, you're in luck. Gilly presses A to jump. Instead of that command being sent to an Xbox in your house, that command is sent to the laptop, which sends it to your router, which sends it to a server somewhere in the world running the game, hopefully close to you. That command is received, the character jumps. That server is sending a video through the internet back to your laptop screen where you see the character jump. Anything with a web browser and a connection to a server can run games. And for people with great internet but might be on a budget, it's really a godsend. Now, how is the gaming experience? It really depends. If you have excellent internet speeds and that server has excellent internet speeds and there's no interruption, it's a seamless experience. If not, well, have you ever been watching a video streaming and a frame or two skips or buffers? Imagine that, but while playing a game. Eek. And there's always distance. The farther you are from a server, the more latency it will add. But honestly, especially in Microsoft's case, these servers are all over the USA and all over the world, with more being built. I do feel like I'm lucky because I know for a fact I am close to a Microsoft server farm, and before that, a Google server farm, so my experience may vary. But even I've had mixed experiences of cloud gaming, for the best, better, and the worst. And Microsoft in particular has been making big strides and moves in this space. They are not in the position they were in even a few years ago. It's really wild to see the change if you were along for it. So I'm gonna take you through a story. A certain Gilly around 2021-ish wanted the game. He had a Nintendo Switch at the time, sold his Xbox a few years ago because his big boy job didn't give him enough time, but wanted some games that he couldn't or wouldn't run on said console, Switch. New consoles were all being scalped from retailers, and they were an arm and a leg on eBay. So I thought I would try something called xCloud. I got my laptop set up, I resubbed the Game Pass exclusively for this feature. Loaded up the page and it was a mess. It was buggy and glitchy and had this weird scan line effect, and my internet was good. I knew I could stream live content, and as we'll talk about another service later, I knew my internet could handle it, but Microsoft took my money that month. Fast forward to 2024, I missed out on a lot of games through the years, still didn't have an Xbox, see that people online say GamePass Streaming was getting better and some exclusively use it. I'll give it one more try, and it wasn't perfect, but I was really impressed with it. No more scan lines, hundreds of games to choose from, could run in pretty much any device or browser. I played in my living room, dining room, loftus, bedroom. That was where the distance became a problem, but I was, at times, really blown away. No installs, modern gen loading times, all the same features that your standard devices have, all without buying new hardware. So now when those weirdos online say that cloud gaming is the future, I'm starting to believe them. To be fair, xCloud wasn't my first experience of game streaming. I was actually one of the weirdos that used and kind of simped for Stadia.
What's that?
Stadia worked great for me, and I needed new Chromecast on all my TVs in my house anyway. For those who don't know, Stadia was made by Google, and people saw it as a joke out of the gate. I saw it as a joke out of the gate. But the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy was on sale for it, and as I said before, I didn't have a console outside of the Switch, and I also use...
Hello, I'm a Mac.
So, I don't know, I thought for like $30 for 3 games, I would give it a shot, and wow. The gameplay was great. Even to this day, it's the closest I've felt to a console experience on streaming. The problem was the its content, especially after a while. It got a lot of big games like Cyberpunk, one of the games that got me onto the service, and was probably one of the better ways to experience it at launch, especially compared to the Xbox One and PS4 versions. And it got games much later than its counterparts. By the end, it maybe had a few hundred games at best, but it was getting left behind. Google was losing money because it had a system where you could have a paid membership, but you didn't need it. You bought the games outright and you could play them forever. Well, forever didn't last. Forever lasted till January 2023. Google ended up shutting down the service, and everyone who purchased the games got refunded, which was cool. Getting my money back for Cyberpunk, Red Dead Redemption, Resident Evil Village, playing these games for essentially free, and getting a few Chromecast devices out of it, not bad. And the controllers are decent too, but the business model just wasn't there, and the save files were lost forever. Fast forward to the Xbox GamePass Streaming era, where you could argue the model stability in general, many have, but it seems to be more secure with a monthly subscription and games being included. And now they're also rolling out the ability to purchase select individual games. Also, your save data is able to be accessed via an Xbox or in some cases a PC. So if you're like me and follow the Game Pass Streaming to Xbox pipeline, it's a perfect front door to get you in their system. There's people that don't even have an Xbox and only access Xbox content through the cloud streaming option, or people who use it as an accessory to pick up where they left off on their games when they're not at home or in a different room of their house. Or maybe you want to try a game on Game Pass without the time commitment of downloading or allocating space. I mean, I was able to coast on Stadia and Xbox Game Pass Streaming on and off for years before finally pulling the trigger. One use case I had semi-recently when I was up late at my girlfriend's house and I just couldn't get to sleep, so I played some Halo Infinite Firefight on my MacBook and got a few rounds in before I got drowsy. I didn't have to set up a console or anything, quick load times, as quick as opening a browser, and a nice fun experience. And honestly, going back to the understanding point, I think even people like her would be more incentivized to try it if they understood it and knew that all they needed to get anything from a AAA experience to a casual gaming experience just with the standard laptop or a Fire Stick on their TV. But yeah, the more hardcore types will still prefer having that physical hardware, and there's still an argument for that, especially for more twitchy multiplayer shooters. But single player games and co-op experiences run fine, more than fine. I mean, I was able to get pretty far in Hi-Fi Rush on Game Pass Streaming, and that's a whole game that's dedicated to timing. But I do think as games get bigger and bigger with more updates, higher standards to run, and with money getting tighter and tighter for a lot of people, I think cloud gaming does have a place in the future, and Microsoft is placing themselves in a great position to capitalize on that. More games and experiences being able to be played on more devices by more people is always a good thing. And if you don't really get it or it isn't for you, that's fine. Maybe you're just not the audience. But I think the audience is out there, even if they don't know it yet.